If you knew what your true yes was and what your true no was in all areas of your life, would you be able to choose faster and easier? What futures would those choices create? Everyone is capable of connecting to their bodies in a way to have more exuberant and joyful living now and in the future. Now, here is your host of Choosing a Different Future with Siris.
Hi, everyone. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm Siris Raquel Rivas Verdejo, and you're here on Choosing a Different Future with Siris. And I have Justin Scott here with me
Hi.
for moral support. He's already making me laugh, which helps immensely. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. Today's show topic is one of our Geek Out shows. It's called Body and Relationship Lessons from Disney Movies. Justin is very concerned about how much he'll be able to contribute to this discussion. It's all good. It's all good. So if you're new to me, I am a life coach that focuses on communication and in all different relationships. So empowering people to have better communication with their kids, with their colleagues, with their partners. And this show is all about the tools, the strategies, the different questions we can ask ourselves so that we can choose something beyond what's been projected or expected of us. And for this topic today, I'm going to read the description. Justin's like, how are you even putting this together? Like, what? This doesn't even make sense. So this is what I wrote. Okay, I'm going to just read it. All right. So like many of us, I grew up on Disney movies, and they played a huge role in my childhood. And I still revisit them as an adult, and Justin can attest to this. And so when you start to delve into their messages about relationships through the eyes of a conscious, empowered adult, you realize there are a lot of points of views that we may have internalized and even created as a part of our lives and a part of our relationships. So have you chosen things or people that match the narratives or the themes of some of those movies? What role did what was going on in your life play in your acceptance or rejection of these ideas? So this isn't going to be a Disney bashing session, even though with Justin it's
Hey, you
it's
think I'm
possible.
gonna bash it? I just don't remember most of the
They make for enjoyable, entertaining movies. And I'd also like to invite us to consider what else would be possible in our relationships, our money flows, with our families, with our bodies, with the earth, by looking at these films from a totally different perspective. So I'm going to look at these in the hopes of increasing our awareness of our relationship patterns. And when I initially prepared this, I did not plan to have Justin be here. So we might actually talk about our relationship a little bit if you want. We could do that. It's for those of you that are just listening.
setup.
I'm not setting you up, I promise. I want to look at this and look at our relationship patterns, our dynamics, so that make sure that we're actually truly choosing what we would like so we can have ourselves exuberantly in our relationships. And this actually comes from the Exuberantly You in Relationships class, and the information for that is on our episodes page or at empoweringlightlanguage.com/exuberantly you. Okay. So why is Justin here? Well, first, let me introduce Justin. And hi again, honey.
So
Yeah. So if you want to actually be seeing this right now, we are streaming to the Inspired Choices Network TV. We're streaming to Inspired Choices Network Facebook page, and also to, I think, YouTube maybe, or Instagram. So my brain is pretty done, which is part of why I want Justin here, to help keep my brain present here. As many of you know, in the last couple of years, there's been many people that have passed, and like over 15, 16 now. And my uncle, one of my uncles, just passed away 2 days ago. One of my mom's cousins that she basically grew up as having him as like a brother. And for those of you that have ever lost someone, you probably can relate to this. Like, it's not just about his passing, because we weren't particularly close. He was actually not as kind of a person as I would really want to hang out with. and he died of cirrhosis, which is very symptomatic and very common in my family because we have so many alcoholics in my family. So, and his was very much because of alcoholism. But it was because it brought up everybody else that passed away, everybody else that has passed in the last couple of years, especially again, I'm thinking about my grandmother. So I've been crying a lot. I had to have my glasses on instead of my contacts today for the show because I'm not trying to put any more strain, anything else on these eyeballs. And I would not be surprised if I cry today. So consider yourself forewarned, but I'm getting all the hugs and squeezes.
Keep it together.
Keep it together. Okay, I'm gonna keep it together. This is what he says to me when I'm about to go, oh, babe. And he'll see the like little twinge. What's the sound you say? When I'm like, is it my nose or like an eye start
Your
going?
whole face.
My whole face.
Just out of nowhere.
And it'll be like,
Yeah, nah, keep it together.
keeping it together.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
You're awesome.
Can y'all hear him okay? Because he's not talking as loud as he usually does as he's calming me down. So you're usually actually quite loud.
I know.
Okay.
I'm trying to be keeping myself together.
You're
too.
keeping yourself together in your irritation of talking about Disney
It
movies.
is wild early, and I've had no food. So yeah.
He's also a little hangry as well. So there's that.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things there. But yeah, so we got the message. Yes, he'll speak up a little bit more, but not yell at me, especially.
Yes.
All right, so let's dig into this. So part of Justin's concern is that he's like, I don't remember these Disney movies. Like I didn't grow up on them like you. He didn't watch every Disney movie that me and my siblings watched 20 plus times. Like that was a big thing that we had while we were hanging out together. We were not isolated, but a little bit. We couldn't really have play dates. We were in a pretty gang infested neighborhood when we were growing up in Chicago. And so we couldn't hang out in our yard. So we did a lot of movies and games and cards and all these and homework and reading and art in home. And it was the three of us, me, my sister Sira, and my brother Shaniel. And this was our thing. And it's still today our thing. If we see another Disney movie, we often prefer to see it together or like chime in on each other by video chat. Like we're in our 30s and 40s now, and we're still doing this. So yeah. Go ahead. What do you have to say?
I have nothing to say.
For you, what's
It's
your
so cute.
It's so cute.
So cute.
So I'm glad it's cute. I find this to be really great. And like I mentioned, now I'm looking at things as an adult, and as much as I appreciate it and I still watch them quite a bit, especially the ones that I'm going to mention today, I'm definitely going old school on y'all. So if you want to like talk about the more new Disney movies, I was trying to watch some of the newer ones to like have it fresh for this discussion, and it was way too many things going on with family. Not just my uncle passing, but my dad's in poor health and all these different things. I didn't have the bandwidth for it. I will fully admit I didn't have it. So I'm going old school. I'm going to go to my tried and true ones, the ones I revisit over and over again. And how about we start with an easy one for you, Justin? We just watched Little Mermaid together, right? We
Live
just
action.
watched the new one, the new live action. What's her name again?
Halle Bailey.
Halle Bailey. I always want to call her Halle Berry. And then I'm like, no.
Really close.
It's very close, right? Okay. So Halle Bailey. And I think it was phenomenal. I think it was really, really good. They really adapted it in a way that they hadn't adapted the other live action movies. They've adapted Beauty and the Beast with what's her name? Emma something that played Hermione on Harry Potter. You love Harry Potter. Remember the one that plays Hermione?
She played Belle.
She played Belle in the new live action.
Knew nothing of this.
Nothing.
Nope.
Yep.
I heard nothing.
You didn't get that memo.
Nope. No.
That's okay. So they basically did the exact same movie in live action with her. And they did a good job. She was great singing, everything. The cinematography was beautiful, but they didn't really change it up. They didn't really like modernize it, but they did do some new things with this most recent Little Mermaid that I really, really like. And so one of the things that is the relationship thing that is for Little Mermaid that I talked to my sister about, because this is one of her favorite Disney movies, is actually having your voice, like for yourself in your relationships, having your voice. Like, what does that mean to you? Like, how is your evolution with having your voice in relationships shifted over the time that you've been dating?
Well, as you said, I'm loud. So I've always had my voice. It's never been an issue. But I can look back and be like, and look some of the old relationships I had, and it's like, well, maybe the woman I was with did not necessarily have that loud of a voice, and I usually ended up talking for them, or I was like someone that would kind of stand up if they had an issue because they didn't have the loudest voice or didn't want to ruffle any feathers or didn't want to start anything. So I'd step up for them because they know I didn't care. So I see some injustice, I'm like, hey, show that out. We won't do that here. So I do it for them. But yeah, I guess it's something I had to really think about. It's like, yeah, I kind of talk a lot and I talk loudly and talk with conviction. So maybe that's why I've had to do it so much and why I don't really talk now, because it's like, I want a break.
Well, and so that's the whole thing. It's funny because we both have had that history. So I very much went from not really having a voice in dating and in relationships that weren't family. I always had a voice with family. I was often, as the oldest, speaking for my siblings. And I think you can relate to that too. You're the oldest as well. I was often explaining people and being the mediator so that they could understand them and maybe see them more clearly, because they were often seeing them through the lens of their disabilities or their special abilities, as I prefer to say it. And so I would be like, I could see that they were like staring at my sister's legs or wondering why my brother was moving his hands. And like, this is before all of the education around that stuff. And so how can we actually now have a voice? Like, we've talked about fantastical voice on our episodes. We've done a couple different fantastical voice topics, and having my fantastical voice now in relationships means not just speaking up when I need to speak up, because I was very well versed at doing that. I had no problem doing that. It was also now the listening, working on that. And listening right now, given the last year and a half or 2 years, is meant something very different. Because when you're having to continually check on your self-regulation because you're tired, you're stressed, you're overwhelmed, you're grieving.
You're hungry.
You're hungry. You're hungry like Justin is right now, and he will not let me forget that I haven't given him enough time to eat today. We definitely have had hangry, ineffective conversations, like very ineffective conversations when we're hangry.
Very much
so. We've learned, we need to not talk right now until food is in our stomachs. Got it. Okay. So I literally will be like, babe, do not talk to me right now. I can't do it. Give me food first. Food first. Food first. But that's definitely been a consideration in the last year for me, is like not so much speaking up, but when to speak up and how to speak up. Like now it's these nuances of like, I have learned how I need to change and talk to you differently than I did to my other exes. Everybody needs something different. And I think that's really when we're really the true mermaids of communication, when we're flowing between water and fire and land and all these different things that the Little Mermaid does in the story of the Disney's Little Mermaid. When we really have that, we are able to navigate that and adjust. And for some of us, it's easier to switch gears and code switch and change our love language and shift and really look at the state of that other person. Are they hungry? Are they calm? Are they stressed? Before we decide to communicate something or not. And for others, it's really, really hard to tap into that for a variety of reasons. And I think that that's something that I'm continually trying to look at for us.
Like, yeah, you do a good job.
Thank you. It's important to me. It's important to me. I got to walk this talk, sir. Yeah. The other piece with this too, and I think we're going to talk about this after this next break, but the other piece I'd like to look into is expanding each other's worlds. Remember that song, A Part of Your World, right? Don't look at me like that. You hear me singing all the time. Deal with it.
I know. And
Deal with it. Yeah.
I accept it.
Yeah.
I know I signed up for this.
Okay, you did sign up for this. All right, thank you very much. So it's time for our first break of the show. And when we return, we will discuss more about how we can expand our worlds in relationships. We're going to discuss the Disney movies. So you're listening to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, with myself, Siris, on the Inspired Choices Network. And when we return, we will continue to geek out on body and relationship lessons from Disney movies with Justin Scott. We will be right back.
Yeah.
Most people haven't been taught how to listen and partner with their bodies in order to create lives that include clarity, pleasure, ease, and connection. Tuning in to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and resources on how to use your awareness of bodies and energy to your advantage. Siris is a family and child coach and therapeutic energy worker who will guide you to get clear and acknowledge what's brilliant, magical, and a gift about you.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Choosing a Different Future show with Siris. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Connect with Siris through her website, empoweringlightlanguage.com, or send an email to empoweringlightlanguage@gmail.com. Now, back to the program.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Siris Raquel Rivas Verdejo on Choosing a Different Future with Siris. And today our show topic is Geek Out, one of our Geek Outs, body and relationship lessons from Disney movies. Our show is brought to you by Protanden's Tri-Synergizer. Take advantage of the important contribution from every Protandan supplement. You get comprehensive benefits, including support for healthy aging, optimal cellular energy, improved mental focus, and healthy longevity. And funny enough, Justin's also been taking it as well. The Tri-Synergizer.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, and that's been really, really great. So it's been me. I've been taking it for like over 5 years now. I introduced it to Justin. He really, really loves it. It's been helping him a lot with his allergies, his immune system, his energy level. And so it's been a part of our relationship, actually, which is great because when we are actually taking care of ourselves, we can be better together.
You know, I haven't taken that today.
Because you take it with your food and you haven't eaten, as you said over and over again. So yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing that we will address right after we're done here. Right. You know, have I thanked you for being on here yet? Have I thanked you?
No. I thank you.
Okay.
You're making me come on to this.
I made you?
Yeah, held a gun, had everything.
That's what I do.
Whole ransom situation.
You know what? It's very much like what Triton, back to Little Mermaids. I'm gonna rein this in. I'm gonna find a way.
Oh, look at you.
So the producer Kim is like, has Justin eaten yet? No, Kim.
No,
he has not.
We do not have butlers and such bringing me sustenance.
But yeah, just like Triton, he tried to tell Ariel in The Little Mermaid, you can't do this. And I don't know about y'all, that never worked for me as a kid.
No, natural rebellion.
Like, especially you were more of a rebel than me. For me, I was very much the good girl, the good student, outwardly, mostly. And then anything I can get away with on the sides, like in the dark, behind the scenes, I would. And then I also rebelled with a lot of my relationship choices, like, which I don't even think is like rebelling, honestly. I just chose what I really wanted. And then they initially thought it as a rebellion or like really different. And then I was like, oh, this is actually what I really want. It's not me trying to resist what they were saying. And we were talking about right before the break about expanding our worlds. And I think that relationships, for me, they should, if you're choosing them, friendships, your work life, they should expand your world. They should introduce you to new things, new people, new ideas. like part of what we talk about a lot is our completely different upbringings in a lot of ways. And also how we have very different lingo and language. I'm constantly learning way more about Black culture than I ever would have. A lot of people are like, Siris, well, you're Black. No, I'm not, even though Justin says I am. And not just by injection. He says I am.
Wow. That's what we're doing. Okay. Yeah.
He says, what was it? Oh, your mom's Black or your grandma's Black, so you're Black.
Yeah. Darker than most of the people in my family.
Yeah, she was. She was. Rest in peace. Yes, she was. And yet I didn't grow up saturated in Black culture. I had Black friends, I had white friends, I had Asian friends, I had all the friends, I had Latino friends. And since I identify as multiracial, I'm not as well versed in every single reference. And he would teach me, he's like, didn't you catch that? You catch that reference? And yet it's a continual, like, what is it? Like source of things for us to talk about that expand my world. And then there's stuff that I talk about that I hope expands your world.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Expanded some things.
It's so salty. Like the salt water.
In my little bubble. My little black bubble. And you're like, hey, there's stuff out here. And I was like, I don't want to do that right now. You were like, you're going to do it and you're going to like it. And I was like, all right.
That's how I said it.
And here we are.
That is not how I said it, y'all. He is misrepresenting me right now. So the saltiness that he is right now is because of being hangry. This is not accurate. All right. At all. I need y'all to know this. I do not command him to do anything because that would be absolutely ineffective. Just like me, he doesn't get to command me. I don't get to command him because we both are like, oh, word?
Yeah.
That's
I may have wanted to do it, but now that you've said that you want me to do it, I don't want to do it no more. Never mind. I'm good.
Just because it was like a command.
It's like, wait a minute. No, see, now you're taking it too far. You can do it.
Gosh. So we want to talk about like Lion King or Beauty and the Beast next. What do you think?
Lion King.
Lion King.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I figured. Okay, actually, see how I queued it up on my notes? Yeah, I figured. Okay, I was like, this is probably a bigger yes.
Yeah. I don't. Not Beauty and the Beast. What did they say that was? What is that syndrome? What is that?
The syndrome for what?
For the characters. You see the memes that have all the Disney characters or princesses, and they'll give them the syndrome.
Yeah.
Hers was something. It was like the kidnapping thing.
Like the the Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm, yeah.
So Belle
has Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah. I think there is something to that.
Oh man, it's so weird now that it's like I can't
not see that.
Yeah, it's just scarred it for me. I don't want to see that movie.
And I actually just finished As Old as Time right here, which is like a twisted tale version of Belle, which basically talks about what if Belle's mother cursed the beast? And you find out that Belle's mother is an enchantress, and that everyone's forgotten about her and all of these other magical people that used to do all these different magical things just to protect them, but then it didn't really protect them. It's this whole interesting thing. And it's really about interesting, like when you want something different than what other people want around you. That's what I love about Belle. I love how you said you didn't want to talk about Belle, but then you're talking about Belle. I'm just going to point this out. Yeah. He does this all the time, by the way, y'all. He'll be like, nah. And then here we are. Tim, our producer, is like, get that man some toast. Yeah. He loves some toast. Toasty toast. So with Belle, let's just look at that. We'll just talk about it a little bit because it's my favorite.
That's your jam.
It is my jam for sure. Since we're already getting into it, very quickly, one of the reasons I love Belle so much is because she was different from everybody else. She was all about books like I was my whole life. Books saved my life. You guys have heard me talk about it a lot. I've done book geek outs. I share a lot of the books I'm reading and I love with y'all. And with Belle, she was in the books, traveling through the books, which is what I did. She was using that to comfort her, to disassociate from the things that were boring or not really going as well as she wanted to. She didn't have a mom in her life. I had my dad, but I didn't see him as often as I would have wanted to. at least initially. And then I didn't want to see him as much as I was even scheduled to see him after a while. But one of the things that brings up over and over and over again is there was almost everything I've chosen relationship wise is completely counter than what everyone in my family's chosen. Up until me, like the generations after me, like my cousins, absolutely are like pioneers and like are rocking it and choosing very different things. But I was the oldest grandchild, so for me, I was the first to choose a lot of these things, to explore a lot of these things. Was that the case for you?
I definitely did some different things. I could probably say my aunt probably is, because even though she's my aunt, she's only like 8 years older than me.
Yeah,
so
you guys were
like
like cousins.
Sister almost in a way. So they were looking at her, and since my mother was so much older than the rest of the first cousins, because they're technically all my second cousins or my aunt or whatever, and so I got lumped in with them because I'm around their age. Whereas my mom's older than them, so they don't look at her in the same thing. So they don't really pay attention to what she did. They pay attention to our age group bracket.
Yeah.
And so my aunt was the first one, and she didn't do what everybody else did.
In what way? Like, how did she choose something different?
First, she didn't want to go to college. That was the main thing for everybody else. Everybody went to college. Everybody got a degree. My aunt was like, nah, I'm going to do this over here. Even though, at least on paper, she was probably the smartest one out of everybody. And so she's like, nope. And then, I come along, do the same thing. It's like, I'm going to do this college thing. Nope, I don't like this. I don't want to do this.
You tried it.
I tried it.
And it didn't work.
Right.
It was like, this is not a good fit. Yeah.
So it's like little things. And then, so, dating, doing what she did, how she did it. In the same way with me, I kind of did my own thing. It was whatever.
How did you do something different than your family in dating, though?
So
that is actually something that I don't think we've talked about.
For one, me and my aunt both waited. Well, she waited to have her first child till she was 20.
Okay.
Most everybody else were teenagers.
That's true.
I didn't have kids at all. I was like, I'm good.
We're not having kids.
So it's like we weren't immediately into trying to keep the family growing and things like that. We were out here dating, we were having fun. We were just focused on ourselves and then, just kind of living.
Yeah.
We weren't really worried about making a family and doing all these things that would sustain a family. We were just solo and out here just having fun and just making sure we stayed alive. So
Well, the other thing with that is that a lot of people would think that, unfortunately, they would erroneously think that by you not choosing to have kids, you don't care about family as much because you're not creating your own family. And yet I've seen you with your family. I love you with your family. Like that was a big part of like, oh, okay, this is going to work because like our families are very similar, or at least complementary in how they interact. And you heard that, but you didn't really get it until recently when we were in Chicago.
Got to see the family for real.
Yeah, and it was really, really awesome for you to meet some of them. I hope you get to meet the other ones too. But it's not true. Like you don't have to have a family, in a nuclear family, to say, hey, I really value family and family is really important to me. Because like I've seen you go to bat for your family. I see you show up to all the events. I see you check in with them and like advise them and be that big brother or the cousin or everything to them. And that's really awesome. Like it's there's no doubt that you love and care for them. Like what you do with your grandmothers and like it's amazing. Your mom and your relationships is not like me and my mom's relationship, and yet there's lots of love and respect there, and it's just so cool. And yet with Belle, like she didn't really have all this access to family. I think that's what I would have loved to see that was missing. She didn't have a chaotic family life like I did, where there were uncles talking over each other and the fish and the cooking. Like in Little Mermaid, they actually had more food related scenes than Belle. I would have loved to see that. That's would have been really, really awesome. But one of the things I got to give Belle, as much as she did have Stockholm syndrome, as you put it, she chose what was going to work for her. Who was going to think that, okay, I'm going to go interspecies on here. Let's rock out some interspecies stuff. This is way before all of the erotica that I used to read about interspecies sex and relationships. I was like, okay, so what are we doing here? How's that going to work? Like anatomically? Like I was very curious.
I heard banging aliens and things like that. Nah. Keep it human.
Dude.
That's where you lose me.
Not your kink?
No, not my kink. I'm good. That's not for me.
All right, let's get back to what you wanted to talk about. You wanted to talk about Lion King, right?
Yeah, we'll get on that.
You know, and I didn't want to start with Lion King because there's a lot of uncle energy with Lion King, right?
It's a lot of betrayal.
There's a lot of betrayal.
Betrayal.
What do you love about Lion King? Oh, actually, you know what? Can we pause on there? Because I think we need a break. Okay.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, we do need a break.
Break it up.
I do. It's time for a break. Hold that thought. I promise we're going to talk about Justin's love of Lion King. So you're listening to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, with myself, Siris, on the Inspired Choices Network. And when we return, we will continue to discuss Geek Out, body and relationship lessons from Disney movies with my co-host, Justin Scott. We will be right back.
Most people haven't been taught how to listen and partner with their bodies in order to create lives that include clarity, pleasure, ease, and connection. Tuning in to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and resources on how to use your awareness of bodies and energy to your advantage. Siris is a family and child coach and therapeutic energy worker who will guide you to get clear and acknowledge what's brilliant, magical, and a gift about you.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Choosing a Different Future show with Siris. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Connect with Siris through her website, empoweringlightlanguage.com, or send an email to empoweringlightlanguage@gmail.com. Now, back to the program.
Okay, so welcome back, everyone. I'm Siris Raquel Rivas Verdejo on Choosing a Different Future with Siris. And today our show topic is Geek Out, body and relationship lessons from Disney movies. Our show is brought to you by Protanden's Tri-Synergizer. Take advantage of the important contribution from every Protandan supplement. You get comprehensive benefits, including support for healthy aging, optimal cellular energy, improves mental focus, and healthy longevity. The information for it, I didn't mention last time, is on our episode page and also at www.sirisrivas.lifevantage.com. Just so you know, we have some upcoming events. We have a meet and greet in Columbus, Ohio on Friday, September 29th, just this upcoming Friday, where we're going to be there for everybody. Can come and meet up with us and hang out. The information for that and the awakening class that we'll have the day after on Saturday, September 30th is on our empoweringlightlanguage.com/living and dying page, because we're going to be learning about the living and dying body process. We will give and receive that body process in the class. We get to have facilitation. It's basically like a lovely, relaxing, nurturing space for you. And we also have a class of the awakening class on Saturday, November 4th in Chicago. So Saturday, September 30th in Dublin, Ohio, right near Columbus, and November 4th in Chicago. And it's also, the Chicago one is live streaming right to your home, wherever you are in the world, if you would like a live streaming. The Ohio one is just in person, just to create a nice little nurturing space in there. We have our Expansive Energies group, which is our self-care group. And the theme for this month is, what's the language of your life? What's the language that you're using to create your life? And the information for that is at empoweringlightlanguage.com/expansiveenergies. We have some Being a Different Possibility monthly calls. Check out our events page for that on the website. Learning Through Movement is this upcoming Monday, September 25th. And Family and Money, Financial Literacy and Health is on October 23rd. Those are virtual calls. And if you want the replay replays of any of our previous calls as well. That's all on the events page. You can just select ding, 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 ding. Any of the previous ones, we'll send it to you by email and check those out. So we were talking about before the break that you really love Lion King.
Yeah, Lion King is cool, man.
Lion King's cool. What do you love about Lion King? I cut you off. I'm sorry.
Nah, man, it's cool. No.
You forgive me? Okay.
So, Lion King is cool because it's like you got the kid who gets to go off and adventure and do what he wants.
Mm.
It might not be, given permission to do it, but he does it. It's kind of what I did when I was a kid, so I could relate to it. They didn't tell me I couldn't. They didn't tell me I could, and so I go find myself in these weird situations.
Some of them not so great.
Very much so.
Like dangerous.
Very much so.
Like legitimately.
Yes.
Okay.
I should not be walking around right now type stuff. Yes. I was out here living life I shouldn't be living. But
you learned some things.
I learned a whole lot of things. Stuff that probably shouldn't have been learned at that age. But you got to go, life comes at you fast type of thing. You got to learn. You move on. But yes, I thought it was cool. I related to that. He's out here having fun with his little friends, and trying to just, explore. And then, unfortunately, got persuaded by some people that, I guess uncle that's, trying to see the good side in things and help him out, which really wasn't. He was just trying to help himself out. So it just unfortunately ended up with some super negative things happening, which that much it was like, it got real dark real quick. I didn't, I'm not into that part, but I was with, being solo and kind of living life and growing up and doing stuff as a kid that you probably shouldn't have been. I related with that. So.
You know what? And out of all the zillions of times I've seen that movie, I never really focused on that part. So that's really interesting. Like, yeah, it's true. The exploration, we both love to travel. We both love exploring different places and doing our own thing and like not having a very structured itinerary, like having some maybe guidelines and then going from there. But yeah, that's true. That's really cool. And I actually picking somebody that if that's something that does resonate with you and that's something that you like, that you're able to do that with is pretty awesome. For me, this was one of the first movies that it really hit me more than Little Mermaid with the dad going back and being like, okay, maybe I was mistaken. But with this one, it was like, oh, grown people don't always know better. That was one of those things that actually runs in all three of the movies we've mentioned so far. The grown people don't necessarily know better than you. And so what do I know? And so it really, I guess in a similar way, but different, I started looking at being my own mentor and being my own leader and trying out things because a lot of the people in my family hadn't ever considered that, going to certain places, having these certain relationships, the poly, the kink relationships. Nobody in my family that I knew of up until then had been trying that. Now that I was so open with it when I was trying it, then the older generation's like, oh, well, I used to do this, this, and this. Have you gone? And I was like, what? But they want to talk to you about it when I was first exploring it because I had no idea that they were, some of them, not all of them, had been trying out some of these things because I would have loved to have bounced off some of my experiences with them and like maybe miss some of the pitfalls, but that was a big one. And then like I have so many uncles, many of which have passed in the last 5-10 years. And obviously the one that just passed 2 days ago, who I haven't seen in like at least 10 years, maybe since my sister's quinceañera or something like that. So it's maybe longer than that. I think she's like in her almost 40. So, and yet over and over again, I was seeing them choose these different relationship patterns that I was like, that's not what I want. And that's not what I want. So I actually started to look at a lot of my older generations, not for examples of what to do, but for things not to do. And that's what I started to get with Lion King too, is like, all right, just because they're saying this certain thing doesn't mean that they're actually walking that talk or they actually know what they're talking about or they have your best interests at heart. So that Scar is one of that. You know what? And my dad has a lot of scars, like victim mentality. Like, and so seeing that portrayed on screen was really interesting. It started to plant the seeds as like, that's exactly the kind of language my dad talks about, of like, oh, this is what I deserve, and this is what I never get this. He would never go as far to like kill his brother or kill a family member. Hello, let's be clear. But a lot of that kind of discussion made me be like, I don't want to choose someone that has that victim mentality, that's always doing that. And that's one of the things that we both, on our first date, I remember this, we both like, how would you say it? Like, we needed to check on this to like make sure that wasn't a thing.
Yeah, man. Their family's cool, we cool, and nothing is influencing us to do certain things.
Yeah, I remember you saying like, oh, like I forget how you phrased it, but it was like something like, oh, do you have any like serious conditions going on or something like that?
You got the, it ain't as simple as, okay, yeah, high blood pressure, diabetes type stuff. No, I'm like, is there bipolar disorder, depression? Like, what's going on in your family? Because there's some one-offs in my family got that, and then especially with my father and then some of my siblings, their mother sides have that stuff, and I'm like, yo. First off, you want to have kids because I don't want to pass nothing crazy into my child. So if not, cool. But what you got going on at the same time? Yeah. Because I don't need any surprises later on, and you come out and you're a whole nother person, and I'm like, oh, who are you? You're like, hey, I've been dormant this whole time, but I'm here now. I don't got time for that. So let me know what I'm dealing with. I'll let you know what I got, so you know what you're dealing with, and then we can make this work from there. But I need to know these things.
Well, and I never bring a representative on my dates. A lot of people, they do the representative, and then you meet the real person later on. This one here did do a little bit of representative stuff. Lies. Very light.
Lies.
Very light.
Lies.
We're gonna agree to disagree on this one.
Lies. I was in a different life right then.
He was going dancing all the time. I was like, when are we going dancing? Oh, sure, we'll go dancing. Like, we haven't gone dancing, y'all, but it's also been a year. It's been
hey, a lot of stuff has happened a year.
A lot of stuff
has happened.
I'm still waiting for my dancing.
Changed.
I mean, we've done dancing dates at home and things like that. That's been really cute. I loved it. And somebody needs to take me out to some dance clubs.
Yeah.
Very soon. Yeah. But there's a couple things that I was like, oh, what's this? You're interested in this, and this. When are we doing these things? What's going on? And the life has been interesting.
Yeah, life be lifing out here. Yeah. And it's sweet as it was when I first got here. Plus, I was in a new place. Yeah. I had just got to Charlotte, so I was trying to like hang out with folks that I knew, and they just wanted to go out all the time. So it just kind of happened to work out like that. But it's not because I don't want to.
He'll go out with his peeps.
I was at that time. I haven't in a long time.
Lady. No. As he likes to call me, I'm not really a lady, so I don't really like being called a lady. I'm not like a lady.
Like a lady?
Yeah.
No,
I'm not a lady.
Yeah, I didn't sign up for a lady. To be honest with you, so whatever.
But yeah, it's like, and I think that with family, I think that one of the things we have to look at with this is like who's living and whose expectations are you creating your relationships from, like. And for, like I was saying, like I have looked at family and I was like, nope, that's not gonna work. So then for some people, they don't choose different because it's like, I have not seen this yet. They're waiting to see it first before they choose that something different. If I had waited to see someone choose what I was choosing, or to even for them to talk about it first before I chose it, I would have probably waited until my late 20s, early 30s before maybe I met somebody that was in my family, or I talked to somebody in my family, or talked to somebody in my network even, because there was nobody in my friendship circle either that was choosing any of this stuff. So I really was at a loss, and I had to just figure it out and ask and have these conversations with the people that I was saying, hey, would you like to try this? I would read books. Those were my companion. Just like Belle, the books were the ones that were planting the seeds more than my family.
Real on the job training, huh?
On the job training, on the relationship training. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now here's the other thing that's interesting with Lion King, and this is interesting given our relationship too right now, is the females, they go for hunting. They go do the hunting. And that's often like I work more than you, and you do more of the cooking and cleaning.
Yeah, I'm with that.
And you're way better at the cooking and cleaning than me.
With that.
Yeah.
I really don't.
And that wasn't something that we had planned at all from the beginning.
We also aren't super traditional people.
At all.
So it wasn't like I had to guide myself or like really reprogram myself. Mm-hmm. No, I do what works. Mm-hmm. If this is what works, that's what works. You gotta learn how to be adaptable and just kind of flow with how things go. Because if you're trying to focus on just being traditional or doing one way, it ain't always gonna work because situations don't always allow for that. So I didn't have a problem with that.
I really appreciate that because I think that was, even for people who describe themselves as non-traditional or very open, as soon as they were interacting with me, we were getting closer and deeper and more serious. The things that would come up that they hadn't foreseen yet were bringing up their more traditional or conservative expectations, like certain gender role stuff, certain like, oh, well, yes, you can do anything you want, except in these situations. It's like, wait a minute. I'm not telling you, you can't do whatever you want. So what's going on here? Like,
yeah, that's secret triggers.
Yeah.
They didn't realize they had.
Yeah. I think that's fair to say for some of my exes. And so that was some of the other things that we talked through from the beginning, was like kind of scenarios and hypotheticals, and also just seeing our vibe and our chemistry and seeing how we communicated, because we can't anticipate everything. A lot of the stuff that we've experienced with exes has not actually been relevant to us, which is great. But then there's been a whole new crop of things for us to navigate through. Multiple deaths, a lot of that. Unemployment stuff, business changing things, moving. You've moved twice. I've moved 2-3 times. We've moved together all in like a year and a half, 2 years.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, all these different things that people who are married can cause people who are married to get a divorce, we've dealt with in like this short span of time. That's the adapt, the shape shifting.
That's right.
Which,
got to be water.
The water?
Flow like water.
Yeah, we do. We should get a break. Okay. All right. I know. All right. Let's take our next break, y'all. You're listening to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, with myself, Siris, on the Inspired Choices Network. And when we return, we will continue to geek out on relationship and body lessons from Disney movies. We'll be right back.
Most people haven't been taught how to listen and partner with their bodies in order to create lives that include clarity, pleasure, ease, and connection. Tuning in to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and resources on how to use your awareness of bodies and energy to your advantage. Siris is a family and child coach and therapeutic energy worker who will guide you to get clear and acknowledge what's brilliant, magical, and a gift about you. This is the Choosing a Different Future show with Siris. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Connect with Siris through her website, empoweringlightlanguage.com, or send an email to empoweringlightlanguage@gmail.com. Now, back to the program.
Oh my goodness gracious. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I am Siris Raquel Rivas Verdejo on Choosing a Different Future with Siris, and today our show topic has been Geek Out, body and relationship lessons from Disney movies. And I've been having my surprise co-host here, Justin Scott, a lifelong artist, an innovative thinker, and my man. I asked him to join me because it's been a very emotional week with another family passing. And I needed to show up for y'all as best as I could. And he always helps me show up better. So thank you again for being here today, honey. And before we went on break, we were talking about Lion King. And the only other thing I wanted to mention about Lion King that I thought was really, really powerful, and they don't really show in a lot of other movies, is the connection with someone who's passed. How Mufasa was up in the sky. Mm-hmm. And
he still had guidance.
Yeah.
Even after life.
Yeah. I love that. And I think that a lot of people were really upset about his death.
Yeah.
It was really controversial when it first came out.
Was that the first death?
It was the first Disney movie. Like,
yeah, it was, whoa.
They were saying it's too traumatic for children. My parents actually, I remember at the time being like, no, this is part of life. I really have to commend my parents for that. I mean, you're not seeing the dead, trampled body. You see it after the fact, perhaps a little bit, but you're not.
Bambi.
It was actually.
I completely.
Yeah, but Bambi, you don't see.
That's true.
It's like it's alluded
to. You just find.
Yeah.
Said body.
Yeah. There's
like,
a comment.
You watch Mufasa take the L, and it's like, oh, he's gonna make it. No, he gone. He's out.
And the L thing, so they built it up. So you kind of got hope. It's like a roller coaster. You're like, no, oh wait, it's gonna get yeah.
It goes back. Yeah.
But I really love that it showed a way that you can still connect and talk to someone who's passed. And I think it's just an interesting point of view for those that are not willing to talk to children about death because they're aware of it. They're impacted by it just as much as the adults. They're picking up on the energies. I've talked to a lot of kids that are picking up on the spirits and the entities of their loved ones that have passed, and they don't have anyone else to talk to about it until I say some off the cuff comment about my grandmother passed away, but she'd visit me in my dream or whatever. And they're like, you too? Or like something like that. And I'm like, oh baby, like I really wish you could talk to your parents about that too. And that could be something that allows both of you to grieve. Like if I didn't have my mom and my brother and Justin and my sister and all these lovely friends of mine to talk through their experiences of how they feel disconnected, but then connected in a new way with their loved ones that have passed, like these plus 15 plus passings I would be underground myself right now.
Yeah.
Between that and being able to talk to people about it and the living and dying body process, I was running it on myself yesterday. I was bawling like crazy yesterday. I was running it on myself while we were watching our Korean reality show, dating show. So good.
Yeah, so good. Korea makes some bangers. Like they know what these people over here like.
Yeah. Or at least what we like. I don't know. I can't speak for everybody else, but we like it. It's we love Japanese and Korean like dating shows and reality shows. They're really, really fun. But I really appreciate that because that is one of the things that I could hold on to and know to be true for me. It doesn't have to be true for anybody else. This is I can still connect with them in a different way. And yes, I miss their smell and I miss their body and the hugs, but this is something that I can go to. So we could talk a whole thing just on this, but I want y'all to know our next episode is next week is the art of seducing more from your business. And then our original plan, and it's still staying true, our professional, quote unquote, professional talk about Justin is going to be on October 6th. And it's rediscovering the creative path as a lost creator. Yes. So that's going to be awesome. And then our rescheduled conversation on when kink or polyamory doesn't work will be on October 13th. So register for all those, pre-register, make sure you're notified by our emails on all those upcoming episodes. I hope you've enjoyed us geeking out on some Disney stuff. You see, it wasn't as bad as you thought, right? Like
Nah, I wouldn't set up. We're good.
I never am setting you up.
You really don't, but you know.
I got to do a couple more years of him having more data points of you not setting him up
man,
for him to not anticipate being set up because he's had a lot of people
out here, you know,
that was setting him up, and I'm like, nope, that's not me.
You're a good person. I love you. You're good people. My bad.
You're working on it.
I'm working on it.
I love you too. So thank y'all for joining me. Thank you for giving me a reason to get up and put on clothes today because I did not want to get out of bed and I could easily go back to sleep right now, but it was really lovely remembering something that has brought me so much joy with Disney movies and talking about a more nuanced perspective on them that is us as adults. When we're more conscious and aware, we can still enjoy these things that are like quote unquote bad for us or that are like have some interesting points of views. Well, let's make sure that we're aware of what we'd like to buy from that and what is not actually going to serve us when we're choosing to create relationships. Check out the Exuberantly You in Relationships course. Let me know if you have any questions about it. And I hope to see y'all next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Choosing a Different Future show. Siris returns Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Mountain, and 7 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, keep choosing what will work for you and your body, your own unique way honoring what will work for you. Thank you for listening to the Choosing a Different Future show. Siris returns Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Mountain, and 7 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, keep choosing what will work for you and your body, your own unique way honoring what will work for you.